Hey up, this is a bit of a can of worms that I'm about to open up here. I need to give you some context as to why I'm making this video, so if you've got a short attention span, please bear with me. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I went to university and I managed to gain some formal academic qualifications in psychology. I've never used it to make a living. I don't consider myself to be a psychologist, but you know, it has sort of armed me with some tools that have been useful in life. Now, organically over the years, this channel sort of positioned itself in a niche of a sort of motorcycle lifestyle, and over the years I've used that psychology background to make one or two videos. I make, you know, maybe 2 a year, and I have done for several years, just where I think it's appropriate, useful and interesting to viewers. About 2 weeks ago I made a video about the psychology of the lone rider, you know, people that prefer to ride on their own rather than in groups, and in the comments it became quite apparent to me that what I hadn't done is I haven't got the message over that psychology is quite a dynamic thing. You can't pigeonhole it and stick it rigidly into one place. Psychological behaviour is fluid behaviour. You know, it doesn't sort of stick in one place. It tends to cross over and overlap with other habits and behaviours, and I've not really got that message across in that video, which led a lot of people to leave comments suggesting that you know, they fall into different categories, which is quite right. And I thought, well, I need to make a video to address that then, and perhaps cover, you know, different types of motorcycling behaviour and how they sort of overlap and come together in certain circumstances. So I started going through all the comments again. Now, on reading those comments, a particular channel kept coming up, a channel called THROTTLE Psychology. Now, at first glance, this looks like a very well-made, high-quality, polished channel, you know, really high production values using specialist sort of animated cartoons, a very soothing, calm American voice that makes you sort of trust it. It sounds authoritative. You know, everything about it just seems perfect, perhaps a little bit too perfect. Now, I'm going to put you out of your misery right now. The brutal truth about this channel is that it is an AI content creation farm. It's just one small part of a huge criminal operation operating out of India. We all know about these criminal scam call centres that operate out of India, where they have perhaps 10 or 12 operators, contract workers sitting at computer terminals with telephones trying to scam people out of the savings. You know, these are the people that send you spam texts saying that your Amazon account has been compromised, so you need to protect your debit card. They tell you that you know, you're due a tax refund, and you know, it's all an elaborate scam to rob you of your money. Well, this is their sideline. They've got the people, they've got the computers, they've got access to the internet, they've got a decent command of the English language, so why not rob YouTube of ad revenue by putting up what are effectively AI generated videos, channels, which actually have no human intervention at all, or very little. Despite its outwardly polished appeal, this is just AI slop. Now, it's currently estimated that about 10% of the video content that you watch here on YouTube is generated by these AI content farms. It's not released by real people. It's all generated by AI with very little human intervention. Some estimates suggest that it could be as high as 20%. And I'm hoping that this video will assist you in sort of enlightening you as to what you're watching, whether it's real content or whether it's just computer generated crap. invented for the purposes of exploiting your time and making money from YouTube. Now, the first thing that sort of came to mind with this, if this channel was genuinely run by somebody with a psychology background, you know, a learned, academically focused person, why aren't they doing a face-to-face camera you know, narrative on this? What are they hiding from? These people are generally used to giving lectures. They're very eloquent in the narratives. Why are they using an AI voice? And by the way, this AI voice is used by thousands of channels on YouTube, and it's called Adam. Adam is not a real person. Adam is a default computer-generated, synthesized human voice created by a software called 11 Labs. This voice was created for a particular insidious reason, and it's the same reason that these scammers favour using it. I'll explain that as we go on. And this is the first red flag that should alert you whenever you're watching one of these videos. It's the same voice that you hear on adverts. It's the same voice that you can hear on literally thousands of other YouTube channels. It's selected for a particular reason, and it's very distinctive. It's very easy to recognize it. There's also another voice which is incredibly similar. They're both derived from the same sort of algorithm, called Marcus. The only differences between the two are there are slight differences in the voice inflection, pitch, tone and spacing, but they are essentially the same voices that have just been manipulated slightly to get a different response from the listener. Seriously, researching this video has been, for me, like opening Pandora's box. This is such an insidious industry. Now, the other thing is, the narrative is very generic. When I make these sort of videos, and when you see sort of real psychologists, doctors and professors making these same sort of videos where, you know, they're sitting in front of a camera and talking, they don't use all the psychology sort of industry jargon, and if they do, they explain what it means. This is AI generated, so they've used something similar to ChatGPT to simply extract academic information, which is correct, but when you listen to these people, they never back it up with any sort of proper anecdotal stories or explanations or personal experiences, which is important because, you know, the author of this channel is purporting to be a motorcycle enthusiast and psychologist. Instead, the whole narrative is very faceless and generic with no personality. And if you've watched these videos in instances where it does try to provide some sort of anecdote, again, it's very generic, and to be quite honest, it's pathetic. It falls flat on its face. It describes things which absolutely would never happen with a real person. But, you know, the way it's all put together, you're pulled into it hook, line and sinker. At the end of the day, it's AI. It's got no idea how a human actually behaves in certain circumstances. So it presents a sort of flowery, polished, romanticized anecdote which, you know, it doesn't have any place in reality. Now, this is actually an age-old technique. Back when I was in the police, we used to call it bullshit baffles brains. You throw a load of technical jargon at somebody that they don't understand. They don't want to appear stupid, and even though they don't understand it, they don't examine it closely. They just accept it and move on. Now, as I said, this is a very niche subject, and if you actually look at the channel stats, it's got 15.6 thousand subscribers. They only joined on the 10th of August last year. That is going some for any channel starting off from nothing and building it up to 15,000 subscribers. That would take most channels 2 or 3 years, yet it's done it in less than a year. And you will notice that it says that it's based in the United States. It's also got a sister channel, Throttle Psychology X, which says that it's based in Turkey, but they both present on screen as Throttle Psychology. They both have very similar content. The second one has been set up as a standby channel. I'll explain why they do that in a moment. And of course, these content farms use VPNs to hide where they are actually situated, and they self-declare as being in the United States, the UK, Turkey, or wherever. The truth is, they're all situated in India. Well, actually, let me be clear and honest. The substance of the grammar used, 95% suggests India, but there is a 5% chance that it may be coming out of Ukraine. Now, they choose these niche subjects for a reason. One is, while it's getting a foothold, it doesn't come to YouTube's regulatory attention. These channels, for the sake of, or for the purposes of YouTube, are illegal. The low quality, computer generated, repetitive content which isn't allowed. So they have a second channel as a standby channel, so that if one morning they wake up, YouTube's noticed it and removed it or demonetized it, they can then fall back on an established second channel to keep the revenue coming in. What they will probably do is just re-upload all the old videos from the demonetized channel onto the other established channel, and they'll start again. Bearing in mind, these people are running hundreds of these channels at the same time. A lot of them are relating to sort of psychology. Some are actually, I mean, perversely, gardening channels. But, you know, that's the second reason that they use these niche subjects. These sort of subjects are usually of interest to people of a certain demographic, over 40, possibly approaching retirement, quite affluent, and this makes them big game for ad revenue on YouTube. They've got a little bit more cash to spend than a younger person. They're more likely to click on adverts and spend money, so they command higher CPM rates. So for low views, you get higher rates paid. You only need 100,000 views to probably make about £1,000 on one of these videos. And that's why they also sort of broadcast these as, you know, to a Western culture like the UK or the United States, because, you know, wages are a lot higher in those countries, so it commands higher CPM rates. If you did it in your own country, Ukraine or India, there would be a fraction of what you would get in the United Kingdom or the US. So, you know, the bigger money targets. Now, going back about a year ago, these AI sort of generation firms or farms used to spam YouTube with several of these videos a day. They've learned that that comes to YouTube's attention way too quickly. So what they do now is they have, like I've said, hundreds of different channels under different names, and they will probably just upload one a day for each channel, or one every 2 or 3 days, so that it doesn't become suspicious to the YouTube algorithm. The longer they can keep it going without YouTube noticing, that, you know, the longer the revenue stream continues interrupted without them having to really do anything. Now, the wonderful thing about these AI generated content farms is that because they've been almost exclusively made by AI, you can actually put them into an open source program and deconstruct them right back to the source code or text that actually generates the original script through ChatGPT. They actually use a pre-formatted pro forma template where you just have to change a couple of words to make it fit in with what you want, and the actual title sets the tone or context of the script that you want. This whole operation takes about 5 minutes to change a couple of words. They put an optimized title in at the top at number 1, and 3 minutes later ChatGPT spits out a 1,500 word long script. This is cheating. This doesn't come out of anybody's head. This uses ChatGPT to search the internet to get the information that you want and present it in a way that gives it an unfair advantage on the YouTube algorithms compared to other honest channels. The scripts of these videos are specifically engineered to exploit the ego of the viewer. It gives them something that they can self-identify with. It gives them something that makes them personally feel special, because it's using generic information that they in their minds can fit themselves into. It's a sort of addictive script. It's designed to prevent viewers from clicking away from it, because it's feeding their egos, their self-esteem and self-image by telling them exactly what they want to hear. This is an insidious use of psychology. This script is then fed into the 11 Labs software that transfers the text to speech using the voice of Adam, who obviously isn't a real person. This is a voice that has been specifically designed to sound smooth, friendly, authoritative. It's designed to keep people on the video for as long as possible. It's a synthetic voice that's been algorithmically designed to keep people on the hook. Again, it's manipulating psychology to keep people watching for as long as possible. And that longer viewing time manipulates the YouTube algorithm to show the video to more people. Now, we've got the text, we've got the script turned into a voice. What they do now is they go to a piece of software which is an automatic editing system. The most commonly used one is a piece of software called CapCut, although I should point out that most editors have this facility. It will have at its disposal a library of generic B-roll, or in the case of this Throttle Psychology, they're using pre-made AI-generated segments or clips in cartoon form. That editor listens to the narrative on the video and then selects segments or clips that fit in with the words that have been used to give the illusion that you're actually watching a video that's been constructed specifically to go with that narrative. It's just using generic AI generated cartoons in this case. And if you've ever watched any of the videos from this channel, you'll see that actually they just keep reusing it on all different videos. You'll see the same clips coming up on all different videos, because it's only got a limited selection, so it has to keep reusing them. The whole thing will then be uploaded to YouTube and eventually published. Now, this content farm now has one final automated trick that it uses to send the video on its way using bots. I don't know whether you know, but the first hour of a video is the most crucial, and it's important that you get some feedback and some interaction between the channel and between viewers in the way of comments. Now, if you've ever looked at any of my videos, old or new, every comment, whether the video is 4 hours old or 4 years old, every comment that's left, I will leave a like on it, that that little love heart symbol on the right there, because I keep on top of all my videos, old and new. These people don't want to do a lot of work, so they employ a bot just to monitor it for the first hour. And it will leave a love heart on it. It will select a particular comment and pin it, and it will leave a sort of a generic response that, I mean, it could fit if you sort of squint at it, but it often doesn't sort of fit in with the comment that the person has left. After an hour, they stop monitoring it because they've gone on to the next video. This is all low effort stuff. They don't want to put any work into this. They're relying solely on computers to make the videos and to interact with the channel in its first hour or so. The only interaction they want with this channel at the end of the day is every month when they get their big fat paycheck from it. Now, the total actual human time put into each of these videos is around 10 to 20 minutes, and that's just inputting crap into a computer. They're not even uploaded manually. Most of them are automatic uploads. So as you can see, this is money for nothing. By contrast, you know, a 15-minute video for your average honest creator will take a minimum of 2 days. 2 days hard work and research. Now, I'm not telling you what to watch, that's not why I'm making this video, but what I do know from comments I've had from viewers, especially over the last couple of years, is that they hate AI SLOP. You know, I've only got to use a legitimate YouTube generated and YouTube approved AI thumbnail and I get complaints. Yet clearly a lot of these people are watching AI SLOP blissfully unaware that they're being exploited by an AI content farm somewhere in the east that is making money and stealing their time from them. This video is just to demonstrate you how it's all put together and, you know, give you some signs to spot. Because it's clear that people have left comments on my channel about throttle psychology, and people that have left you know, comments on the actual channel itself that I've just shown you. They think that they are actually talking to a person. No person made that video and no person is monitoring it. You are being exploited. And there is just one more thing to consider before you go. The effect that this is having on genuine creators that have worked hard, that do the research and make videos about motorcycles or any other subject where, you know, they actually have a true interest in motorcycles. They have the cameras, they go out, they spend the time, they film the videos, they sit down, they work out their own scripts, and they put together you know, a piece of work that takes them a lot of time and dedication. These channels, you know, Motorbob, the Missenden Flyer, all of your favourite channels are being squeezed by this behaviour on YouTube. It's making it harder and harder for us to keep our views up and make enough money from our work to keep the channels alive. If this continues the way it's going, eventually, one by one, you're going to see all of us drop off until the only thing you can watch here on YouTube is AI SLOP, because that's all that's left. Right, I'm going to leave you with it, and I'll see you again on Friday. Ride safely.